Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Purpose Tune podcast. My name is Kong Shang. I'm the host of the show. The goal of the show, of course, is to create valuable content to broaden your knowledge, inspire you to act, and get you in the right mindset so you can apply it in your own life to take the necessary action to drive extraordinary performance, lead with meaningful impact, and align success with purpose and fulfillment. Today's guest, I'm excited, is my dear friend, Rustin. Rustin has been a tech entrepreneur for many years, and he is such a talented person to know when it comes to all things technology. He His business is quite unique because everything he does is soul aligned, which not many entrepreneurs can say that. If you think about entrepreneurship and people who are in it, they have a great product, a great idea uh, that they want to get to market. But what often happens is that they lack the consciousness, the the soulful essence when doing business. And when you're able to tap into this consciousness state and align yourself with your soul, then you're able to produce more revenue, produce more work, and acquire more clients. And so I'm very excited to have Rustin on the show. Rustin, thank you so much again for joining me today. And what did I miss? Is there anything else you want to mention? If people tune in, what's a few things that you want to say or share to catch their attention so that they can listen to this entire episode?
Yeah, no worries, no worries. No, you did not miss a darn thing, man. Like, I'm honored to be here, to be honest with you. And yes, you and I are very dear friends, and we have these very deep conversations that most people don't realize are hidden behind the scenes of business. So I'm very honored to be here. Like I said, one of the things that you touched on, which was uh, the the soul essence behind what it is that you're doing. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs they get wrapped up and tripped up in what it is that they're doing, and they forget about who it is that they're serving, right?
Mhm.
And when we tap into the essence and we actually, look from a soul led position, that's all that there is just the service and what it is that we're doing. How are we actually helping people? How are we uplifting the world with our gifts? And how do we even find our gifts, first of all, and then move it to them, right? And I think a lot of people, they talk a lot about the fear, and they talk a lot about, how am I going to make it in this world, and entrepreneurship is hard, and they have so many different people talking about all the different gurus. I don't position myself as a guru in this stuff. I just say, hey, these are the things that I have found that work for me, that make it very, very easy. And a lot of people have been applying a lot of these principles, and they're coming to find out that their business can be easy, and the people that they are serving are coming at a faster pace. And
Mhm.
if we look at it from there, this entrepreneurship stuff, I don't understand why they keep telling me that it was hard.
Right. Well, you make a great point because everything is all in the mind, right? Like if you believe that your business is going to be hard, like if it's going to be hard for you to acquire the clients that you need to scale your business, or you think it's going to be hard to uh, scale the operation, then it's going to be hard. But if you tell yourself a different story, such as, the business I'm creating is in line with my values and soul essence, and I believe in what I do is matching my values, my reality, and in flow state, then everything becomes easy, right? So it's just how people see themselves in their business. And the same goes with life in general, right? I mean, why do you think some people can generate revenue while sleeping, whereas other people, work so hard just to make ends meet? And so it really just depends on how you see the business and how you see the world. So, because this podcast is really about purpose, do you think that if somebody were to tap into this soulfulness of themselves, that they are also tapping into purpose, or is that are those two different things?
The purpose in itself is the expression of their soul, right? When I really think of it, and how they actually, how I integrated my own soul led business with myself, right? Because you can have a soul led business and talk about it. then there's another one to take the action on it and actually, put your money where your mouth is, for lack of a better term. And the purpose that I didn't really know I had becomes more apparent the more that I served. So the more action that I took expressing that essence led me to the actual true purpose, right? I think a lot of people and a lot of entrepreneurs out there, they usually have that calling, like, hey, I would love to do whatever it is, or I'd love to do the coaching, right? That evolves through the action that they're taking to a more clear version of the purpose that they are here to actually, the gift that they're actually here to give back to, right? It might have started off as that one thing, and I think that's the expression of the essence, because it's deep down and it just pulls you in that direction. And then after so much clarity, you actually get to the purpose of it.
Mm.
I don't think it's clear right off the bat. I think may feel clear right off the, in the initial, but as you've been doing it for years, you and I both know it evolves and it becomes
Mhm.
more clear. And you don't know what you don't know until you get to that point, right? And it's through the action. But when you're aligned with that very first one, then it becomes big later on, right? A
When you
lot of people
say the
aren't
very
aligned.
first one, when you say the very first one, what do you mean the first one?
That first pull, hey, i
Mm.
want to be a I want to be a coach, right? I had my pain to purpose, this is my, statement, whatever it is, right? You were homeless, take from my, like, homelessness to something amazing, being able to give back to the world, right? And you want to give that back to the world, you hear that calling, right? And that's the very first pull that you have. And then you take the action in alignment with that, from, that end result that you envision. And then over time, the clarity starts to come in, and then the purpose is revealed, right? You might not
Mm.
even realize it until later, but when you become aware of what it is that you're doing, the purpose does get revealed to you in a pretty quick way. Like, oh man, that's what it was. That light on that person's face. This is my purpose here, right? Like, that's usually where I see it. I hear a lot of coaches talk about, like, yeah, like, this is the reason why I'm here. They just changed their life and it was so amazing. And I
Mhm.
think that's where everybody kind of strives to get to. And it can be muddled if we're concentrating on what it is that we're getting out of it and completely making it
Right.
transactional.
Yeah. What's your advice for people who aren't consciously aware and people that kind of live day by day, like they're just taking life as they go with no real direction?
Hmm.
Like, how do you get them to tap into the space of consciousness, or even like tap into their purpose, or ask the bigger question, like, why do I do what I do? What makes me feel alive? Like, what's the whole point of life?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. For me, uh, personally, I asked why 7 times in every action I did,
Mhm.
right? And it brought me to be able to become an observer in where I was coming from to what it is that I envisioned. I always envisioned being, like this millionaire and doing all these amazing things for people and helping people, like, big time. Um, and then the actions I was taking, they were not aligned with that, because I was still stuck in a programming. I was still meandering through life with living somebody else's dream, right?
Mhm.
Doing all this crazy stuff in all these corporate environments, and I wasn't living my dream. So when I asked why, it came down to I was scared most of the time. I was afraid. I didn't know how to be bold. I didn't really know what the vision was, right? I didn't believe in the vision, right? Usually those are the things that come up right in the very beginning. I don't know. I don't feel worthy of this, right? Nobody's ever told me that I was great at anything, right, or something like that. Um, my what I would say is notice that, and truly notice it without judgment, and
Mhm.
then say, I'm going to observe this, and every time that it comes up, I'm going to be like, yeah,
Mhm.
that used to be me. This is me now.
Right. It can be so hard too, because unless people are faced with some sort of major challenge in a personal, professional level, they're not going to really understand. the bigger question, like why is this happening to me, or just in general, like what's the whole point of this, right? Like until they've experienced something painfully, um, it's not gonna really get into their conscious.
Hmm.
I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know if that it has to be true. I mean, I don't know if it has to be true for people to like experience pain before they can actually question whether, you know, um, what must. I just don't know whether there's one path to questioning whether, their existence is something that is important to them. It's
Hmm.
like purpose is such a broad but also specific concept that unless you engage with it on a daily basis, you're not going to really think about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I guess one of the quickest way for people to really tap into space in this conversation, purpose and meaning, is really to say, no, I've experienced something traumatic, and that has led me to this conversation of purpose and questioning my existence in the world. I don't know what other ways people could be to that path. You know what I'm saying?
There's really only two that I know of, and one is having an emotional charge, like you're talking about, behind it, and the other one is space-time repetition, and that's doing something over and over and over and over until it becomes natural, um,
Mhm,
right? Like if take for instance, if you were to use a spray and you know uh, 20 people around you got cancer, right? After they were done using that spray, you would almost instantaneously have an emotional attachment to that, and then it would change your belief. And then that would become natural. I'll never use this again,
mhm,
right? Instantaneous. But other
mhm,
things, like I don't know how to play baseball or something like that, and then you go out and you actually practice it, and you practice it, and you practice it, and you practice it until eventually you're like, I do know how to play baseball. And then you're bridging the gap. I kind of know how to play baseball. I'm not that good at it. I really know how to play baseball. I'm getting better at it. Man, am I amazing at baseball, right? So you'd have that space time repetition, and it could take 6 months. It could take 20 years, right? It's all in how natural it becomes for you and how strong you're willing to practice it. Um,
mhm,
I don't 100% believe that it has to take that long. I think it
mhm,
can, if it can be instantaneous for one thing, it could be instantaneous for everything.
mhm,
Um, I think most of the time we are bombarded through society not to do that because the fear of something is easier than it is to believe something originally,
mhm.
right?
So how do people instantaneously tap into their goals and desires? Like what does that look like?
You must have a deep knowing.
Mhm,
It must be a deep knowing of some kind. And I'm not talking about a knowing of an intellectual type of way. Again, a lot of the things that we talk about, Colin, you and I know I've said this before, is we are doing our best to intellectualize something that is not of this realm. It is not of the intellectual mind. You cannot conceptualize it, right? It is out there in the ether. Um, but for me, it's you must have a deep knowing. It is a feeling so deep inside of you, right? Like you know who your mother is. There is nothing anybody can tell you that that is not your mother.
mhm,
They can't tell it to you. You know it at a cellular level, so deep
mhm,
that there's nothing else to be said about it. That's the type of knowing that you must have when you think of your goals. I know this is what it's going to look like for me. I know this is going to happen. And nobody can say anything to that. They could tell it to you all that they want, like, oh, you'll never get there. Don't try. Many people have tried and they failed. You're going to hear all that stuff, right? And, if you hang around long enough, you're going to hear somebody say, don't let, don't tell your goals to your friends and family. That's the
mhm,
reason why I tell it to them
mhm,
because I love hearing their little, little banter about it. And then I just laugh. I just laugh and I go, you have no idea who I am, do you? I'm like, this is happening. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing you can tell me. Like, I just know it's
Right.
going to happen. And that's the point that you have to get to, that switches the belief from just being a belief, being something that you say to yourself, being something that you might say to somebody else, down into letting everything in you never ever stop until that is achieved. Like, you just know it's going to happen. It's coming at you like a bullet train.
Mhm. So my next question to you then is, how do people just have this knowing that it's going to happen when they haven't in fact achieved it?
How
We
does it
talk a lot
happen?
about like, yeah, so like for example, like what you're saying has to do more of the logic behind knowing that something's going to happen, no matter what. But then talk to me about like the emotions, those feelings of it. Like if I wanted to be a multimillionaire and I just know that that's going to happen, no matter what, it's certain, it's done, and I just have to act as it. But how do I feel like a multimillionaire when I haven't even achieved
Yeah. So there's a couple layers in there that I could feel. Um, One is the conditioning part, right? So you you desire to be a multimillionaire, but you look at your bank account and it's in the negatives,
it? Mhm.
right? And it brings up an emotion, right? Usually something of lack or things like that. When you have that deep knowing that this is what's going to happen, no matter what comes in front of you in the three-dimensional world, the circumstance in itself, you have to be vigilant to go back to the knowing without judgment of the feeling that you are lacking that, right? Without judgment. Oh, that came up. That's very interesting. Okay. Yeah, but I know this. So, whatever. That that's just the current circumstance, because the three-dimensional world is dead. If you really want to intellectualize it, everything out here was already thought of and put out there by you and by the universe in itself. I could look outside and see a 50-year-old tree, right? That tree is not a seed. It is exactly where it needs to be, exactly how it needs to be there, right? It has already grown. It does not need to be thought of again, right? When we're creating something new, we have to sometimes borrow from things that we already know, right?
Mhm.
Like, I know Jeff Bezos is a multi-millionaire billionaire, right? I know it. Because I know that, it's possible for me, right? And then
Right.
I'm able to get in down into that deep knowing, right? Being a millionaire, you can I bet you that you could probably think of an instance where you felt like $1 million. Had a new suit on, got a new haircut, got a new car, whatever it was, right? Uh, when I was 16, we had a 1968 Camaro, and it was
Mm.
just freshly painted. Beautiful, beautiful paint job, right? I pulled up in high school with that car. I felt like $1 billion. There is nothing you can tell me that I was not the man at that
Yeah.
point.
Right.
Okay. That's the image that I go back to. That
Mhm.
feeling of like, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, because I don't think about that car very often. I want to know, and I want one now because they're amazing. Uh, but that feeling when I stepped out and everybody's like, what? Look at that. Right. Like, it's not the thing that I had, it's the feeling that I was feeling when I had that,
Mhm.
right? And if I could bring that into the present moment by my visualization, by my knowing, then at that moment, I'm already living it in the present.
Mhm.
And you do that more often than you don't, that's exactly what you will be. Because the mind wants to, let's just say for an hour you visualize, for 23 hours of the day, it's going to try to dismantle that 1 hour that you just put in all that work,
Mhm.
right? It's being extremely diligent with your practice of noticing and shifting back to the knowing. Notice, shift back. I'm not saying that you have to be like completely exhausted at the end of the day. In the beginning, you will be. I 100% guarantee it. You will be.
Mhm.
But you'll find a happy place where, oh, I just noticed that shifted. Well, I'm going to go ahead and shift back. What I do is I
Yeah.
actually set alarms on my phone.
Mm.
Every 2 hours, it goes off. And I just ask myself one question: how am I feeling and who am I being?
It's
Right?
amazing. Yeah. That's 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 great. That's such a wonderful practice. Does affirmation, visualization, does all of that help with reminding yourself of your identity? Like, what does that look?
Yeah. In the beginning, affirmations did. But I got to a point where me affirming something is just affirming that I don't have it.
Mm, right.
Um,
Because you're affirming from a place of lack. So of course the
exact.
universe would just give you more lack because you're saying it, but you're not feeling it. So you need the feeling of it.
Yeah. 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 So
Right.
my visualizations have become more of a whole body type of feel, right? Because I'm a very powerful visualizer. I could visualize with my eyes open. So I can change the complete surroundings around me, and I could make it whatever it is that I want. Right? I could be in Paris right now talking to you.
Mhm.
Right? I could do it that fast. I just did. Anyways, well, as I'm visualizing, it's not just the image on the screen of the mind. It is my movement,
Mhm.
right? I'll be visualizing as I'm walking. So I like to call it a borrowed movement in your visualization. So because I'm walking, I can change the surrounding area and I could feel it, smell it, taste it, touch it, right? And on top of that, see it, right? So for a lot of people in the very beginning, if they're going to visualize something like, in the Marine Corps, they used to say visualize an attack, right? That was a very powerful practice. We actually went through each and every maneuver before we went out to go do anything, of who was standing next to you, where were they pointed at, what was happening in this exact moment, and we actually had to talk it out with our eyes closed. This was my
Mm.
first real way to do that, and I found it to be so powerful that when it happens in front of you, it's automatic. Like there is complete naturalness to it, right? My
Mhm.
mind already went through it, therefore my body doesn't know the difference, and it thought it already went through it. So it was like deja vu. It was like, yeah, I know exactly what to do,
Mhm.
right? And so I do that on a daily basis of, this is my goal. How did I get to my goal? I did this, 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 and this. And I walked through that. I hired somebody. I outsourced this. I purchased that, right? Coming from the end result. Let's just say you take it a month past the end result. I
Right.
highly suggest that you take it a month past the end result and don't just do just to the end result, because they, anyways, it's more powerful that way. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Month past, I'm having a party or whatever. How did I get to this party? I did this, I did this, I did this, and I planned for it, and I did that, and I did this, right? Those are the things that I visualize. It's not just the goal. The goal in
Right.
itself is awesome. However, you will miss the journey, and it will not
Right.
be anywhere near as powerful, and it will take a lot longer.
Yeah. 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 Wow. Those are some knowledge bomb for sure. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Um, dude, I truly think of course, you specialize in technology, but I don't know if you have any coaching clients, but I mean, they could definitely benefit from your coaching as well as you're helping them with their technology. And you should charge a lot more for we're all in the spirit of making money here, right? Like, of course, you and I know the book that I've been talking to you about was The Science of Getting Rich, and we talked about how if we want to make an impact in the world, then we need to generate revenue, because in this book, it is our obligation to get rich. And there are some, languages in the Bible that God wants you to be prosperous. Otherwise, we're not living to our fullest potential, right? And so, now some people might say, well, look, I mean, there are other ways in which you can make an impact. You don't have to pursue the money route in order to make an impact, which is true, right? But if we want to make the greatest impact, money is a powerful tool. And if we are an expression of the divine God, whatever you call, God or the universe, then we need to tap into our fullest potential to, unleash or gifts to the world so that people can benefit from it. And so, what's your take on that? Like in terms of like, you know, tapping to our fullest potential, like expansion in consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're 100% correct that, with the prosperity comes the opportunity to be able to expand more people and spread the light, right? I truly, truly believe that. Money for me is a spiritual idea, right? And so if I can notice the abundance around me at all times, if I notice, look out the window and I know that my grass, if I go pick a blade of grass, there's going to be a billion more that grow there without me doing anything, right? That's the abundance. If I could believe that down to a core level, then there's no difference in it than believing that money is coming, right? Or money is here, right? That you're always going to be abundant. Uh, I love the quote from Myron Golden when he was like, I have choices. I just love choices, right? That's him tapping into his abundance, right? That's his little mantra, right? And I have my own little mantras for that. I highly suggest everybody comes up with those little mantras for that, because when we get into the space of pure abundance, which is love at the core, right? We are not only just loving ourselves, but we are also showing the possibility to others in a big way, like Jeff Bezos, right? If Jeff Bezos never became a billionaire, there would be somebody else that we would have to look up to, right? To know that it's possible, right? Kathleen Cameron. I know you know Kathleen Cameron, right? She's another possible, like that. Those are your possible ways to go. So because it is possible, it's already done. So if you could tap into the already done and the already knowing, you're going by service, then you start off with that service mindset. You're going to get the income that you desire so that you can serve more, because it's
Yeah,
all the circulation.
yeah, it's all circulation. At the end of the day, money is just energy, right? That's why it's called currency because currency is all energy. Um, Now, how do you respond to people who say, "Well, that's Jeff Bezos, or that's Kathleen Kennedy. They had a good, or maybe perhaps they had connections or they had resources." Like, do you think like those are just excuses that people make to justify why they're not pursuing the fullest potential to be at that status, or is it actually a thing? Like, I mean, do we actually know that Jeff Bezos and Kathleen had the resources that they needed in order to become who they are today? Or is it pure hard work and a little bit of luck and strategy and sports and emotional intelligence and all the above?
Lot of layers in that one. Um, at least for me, what I've noticed is that the one thing that holds all of them in common. I'm talking about Bill Gates. I'm talking about I forget the guy's name from Pfizer, who's a trillionaire, right? All of them, they are bold.
Mhm.
They have transcended the norm of being afraid and comfortable. Now, if somebody says that, what you just said to me about that, I would ask them one question. Are you comfortable in where you're at now? Most of them will say no, right? They'll say no. What are you doing about it? Those people did something about it. They
Right.
created the resource out of the demand that they had that it come,
Mhm.
right? And that's all anybody can do, right? We
Right.
are, if you want to stay exactly where you're at, feel comfortable.
Right.
It's easy to criticize those other people when you are not being bold yourself. But I tell you
Right.
what,
Yeah.
I, Kathleen Cameron, she had plenty
Mhm.
of haters out there. Did she care? No,
No.
right? Be bold.
Yeah. And to that point too, your purpose or your why has to be bigger than any what, any how, and any haters out there for you to succeed at that level, right? Otherwise, people tend to, you know, just quit early because they don't have a strong enough why. Speaking of why, how do you define purpose?
Well, it is the expression of the essence within you for a gift that you are meant to give. That's my definition for
And what is this expression coming from?
it. And it's coming through you,
Mm,
right? It's transcending from something that you cannot intellectualize. It is
right,
something deeper. Some people call it the source. Some people call it God consciousness. Some people call it the universe. Doesn't matter what name you put on it. Uh, it is not you. It is you, and it's coming through you and a part of you at all times, and a part of everything. It is
right,
like your little unique thing, right? Purpose that you're here.
right. That's amazing.
You'll know it
Wow.
because it's easy. It's super easy to do, and it's fun.
Mm. And that is the work that we both preach to, people we come across, is that your work should be, of course, impactful, purposeful, but also easy and fun. That's
Yeah.
in alignment with who you are.
Yeah.
Um, Rustin, this is such a great conversation and a short one. Unfortunately, we'll have to get you on again for a second episode. If people wanted to, two things. Is there anything else you want to share that hasn't been discussed? And the second thing is, where do people find you should they choose to connect with you?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we discussed quite a bit. I don't want somebody's brain to pop, because I know that was the case for me. I was like, you're putting too much in there, man. There's too many things. Just ask yourself why it is that you're doing what you're doing, and if you are completely comfortable, and why you're not being uncomfortable. Okay, be uncomfortable. You're gonna do great things. I guarantee it. How to find me? Everywhere and anywhere. I mean, you could look me up. I have a very unique name, Rustin VanAuken. You could look me up anywhere. You'll find out what I do and who it is that I serve. If you're a coach or a healer or a practitioner of any kind, and you want to talk about some of the services that we provide, and help you shine your light a little bit brighter and a little bit easier on the systems and on the tech side, you can go to get-igs.com, and you can learn a little bit more about that too. Or you can just reach out to me. I'm an open book. I pretty much do everything personally. So you're not going to get some automated response. You will get me, or somebody on my team. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate you being here, and it's been an absolute honor. Thank you, Kong. I love the hard questions, man.
Yeah. Well, you answer with breeze. So thank you for your presence, and thank you so much for just sharing just insightful, powerful um, information for my audience to take away. Folks, if you enjoyed this podcast episode and you want to reach out to Rustin, please highly suggest you to. And also give this episode a like and share with your friends and family so that we can inspire more people to tap into their purpose and their divinity, and really find this consciousness that's embedded within all of us so that we can achieve more, do more, and expand more who we are. Thank you so much again, Rustin, and
Thank you.
I look forward to you again soon.